This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Tim Daniel. I am a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. I've been podcasting about this team for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and The Riverfront, and I want to thank you all for spending some time with me as we discuss the Cincinnati Reds with a huge win tonight over the Chicago Cubs at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, 3-2. If you're just hanging out with us here for the first time, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. Please be sure to hit that notification button here on YouTube so you can not only get my show after each and every single Reds game, but you can get Jeff Carr and Stephen Alfenbaker Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. On tonight's show, man, what a win. What a win indeed. And most importantly, the Redlegs showing some heart tonight. We're going to get into that. Gameday Hue had 2 plays today that really paid dividends. We're going to talk about that as well. And we'll talk about how he's played so far as a Cincinnati Red. And Tyler Stephenson goes deep. Awesome stuff today. Once again, as Dave says it here, the Reds are unswept as they got to win today to keep this thing going. All that and a whole lot more. And of course, I'm going to hear from you, my everydayers who are here with me today. Let's get to it, shall we?
This is what you'll be talking about.
Whew. So this was one where, man, dang it, Logan, that's so good. I like that. The Reds really needed this one today, right? Coming off Bristol, you're really disappointed. Everything that could have gone wrong for them did there. Couldn't get that clutch hit. Needed to find a way, and it didn't happen. And then you come into this series, you know you have 7 straight games. You don't have an off day till next Thursday. So, don't even think about when you can rest, as I say, because I do a show every single day. But this is one where you had to dig deep. You had to find a way to win this game. And you did. And you did. So obviously the first step is Nick Lodolo only goes an inning and 2/3. And for what it's worth, he was dialed in, man. He looked really good. And you're thinking it's going to be one of those Dolo days again. Hell yeah. Here we go. Let's do this. Nope. Blister pops back up. I can't even believe it. I was so just baffled and hurt and frustrated. And then Nick Martinez comes in. You say, all right, let's see what we got here. Ty Steve hits the homer. We'll get to that later in the show. Nick Martinez does give up the 2-run shot to Dansby Swanson. You go, bummer. But Scott Barlow comes in and gives you 2 much-needed innings, getting 4 strikeouts there. Graham Ashcraft gets a nice setting where he gets a hell of a play by as well. And then you get Tony Santillan getting that play by Matt McLain that's hit right to him after he hits PCA to start the inning that he gets a double play on. Unreal. And of course, we get the Gameday Hue play I'm going to talk about in the next segment as well. And then Emilio Pagan comes out and gets 2 strikeouts. And wasn't Pagan's most dominant, but man, when he hit his strikes tonight. Man, the Cubs hitters looked like they were just way off. This is going to be that was just one of these games, man. That was just absolutely awesome. It's a game the Reds needed. And I'm not going to sit here and act like they were dominant. They had 6 hits tonight. They had 11 strikeouts tonight. And they had some bad at-bats. They had some really bad at-bats. But they found a way to put it together when they needed to. So, obviously, after they get the Ty Steve home run, and then they bounce back, Ellie has a huge double into left field that ties the game up, that brings McLain in after McLain gets a steal. Mind you, McLain, pretty decent day today. And then you get Gameday Hue has that soft ground ball single that, I know it didn't end up being much, but absolutely love the heart that Heath showed there. Actually, no, I'm wrong. That totally meant something because TJ gets to go ahead hit right after that, moving him up a spot. So if he doesn't get that hit, who knows what happens? Just a huge game for the Redlegs. One where 3-2, meh. Yeah, you're probably not like. I know there's gonna be some jabroni that comes in here and says like, "Oh, you over exaggerated because they beat the freaking Cubs, who they've barely been able to beat all year. They had 2 wins against the Cubs all season going to this game. They were 2-4 against them all year. Now they're 3-4. Now they have a chance to win the series. I know the last time they went to Wrigley, they won the first game and lost both games, but this is something where now the Reds are in the driver's seat in this series. We talked about it. Steve talked about it today on Locked On Reds, how important this week was. You have 2 series against 2 NL Central Division opponents. You have not beat the Central this year. You have 1 division series win this whole season. And it was when you swept the Pirates in April, as I talked about after my Cardinals outburst a couple months back. And now you get game 1. You probably need 4 and you need at worst 4-3, right? I mean, 5-2 is ideal. 5-2 are better. But that was just one of these games where it felt really good to get that win. You absolutely needed that win. Huge for the Redlegs. We're all going to celebrate it. We're back to 5 games over 500. We're putting Bristol behind us so we can never speak of it ever again. We never need to talk about MLB Firefest ever again. But now we have a shot to let's get a series. Let's take this series. Let's get 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies. Go to Pittsburgh. Feel like you're sitting pretty, though they're playing pretty well of late. I hate to say that, but just a nice day for the Redlegs, and it's going to be fantastic. Laura says, until the Netflix documentary. If I am not interviewed in the Netflix documentary when the day comes, I will send a cease and desist, because Steve and I and Jeff even, they could just get all 3 of us in a room to talk about that thing, and we could go on for days. So the Reds made a trade for Brian Hayes, obviously, last week. And so far in his Reds career, I've really liked what he's played. And he had 2 really big moments tonight. I want to talk about those and more right after this. Time to fuel up and turn up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're seeking birdies or making memories with friends, this is a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, people. Some days on the course, or even off it, you need an extra boost to stay sharp and energized. I drank a 5-Hour Energy today at the gym, and it was perfect for me. Golf is all about games with good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. That offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with their promotions. This code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Summer sports are in full swing, whether you're all about baseball under the lights, unlike the Cubs tonight, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action. FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. I did have a parlay tonight that did not hit. We'll talk about it after the segment, guys. I'm a little salty about it. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like a must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay, I don't like to do that, and I tried it tonight, and it didn't go my way. Or watching a bet right into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. Are you new to FanDuel? New customers can get just $5. You can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Want to send a shout out to all of our everydayers here on the Postcast as we discuss a huge Cincinnati Reds win tonight over the Chicago Cubs, 3-2. If you're just checking me out for the first time, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. Please hit that notification button so you can only get my show after each and every Reds game. We can get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds as well. And if you can't tag along with us here on your YouTube, please subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app. We are on each and every one of them out there. All right. What's the turning point tonight's game? Let's talk about it, shall we?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I'm going to go with the Ke'Bryan Hayes defensive play that gets Dansby Swanson at first base because, like, bro, you got to touch the bag, right? And I can't make this person locked on player of the game in the next segment, but if I would, it would be the guy who told the Reds to challenge that. Whoever Freddie Benavides was on the phone with and said, bro, look at that again. Like, game changer. You're the real MVP, my friend, who did that. So tonight, Ke'Bryan Hayes had two plays that the one we just discussed, which was fantastic. And just an unreal, just first off, to grab the ball on the bounce the way he did. It's polar opposite of what we've been seeing at the hot corner all season, right? It was just an unbelievable play. And the throw he makes to steer, obviously Swanson should have been safe, and he wasn't because that's his fault. But it takes the tying run off the scoreboard, right? Because they had a runner on third at that point. He comes in. We all think it's a tie game, and then the review happens. So that was humongous. And then also the inning before, so in the top of the seventh, he just puts the ball in play. Obviously not something where it's like he hits this huge bomb and we're like celebrating, but he, gets a soft grounder to the first base and hustles his ass off and gets there before the throw, which obviously the pitcher had a hard time fielding it. And so that leads to moving the previous runner over to third, where Friedel knocks him in and the Reds take the lead. So the thing about Ke'Bryan Hayes is that I know everyone is bringing up, well, he can't hit. And I can't argue that by any means. I can't fight that. In a Reds uniform, though, he's looked pretty good so far. Honestly, really liked how he's played so far for the team. Yesterday in Bristol, he's a hell of a play by their third baseman away from tying the game up. And he obviously had that homer and to start that huge 8-run rally the other day. He only has one strikeout so far as a Red. That was tonight, if I think I have my numbers correctly on that. So he's certainly paying dividends. And I am glad he's on our team. I do think GABP could be a nice refresher for him to maybe get back a little bit to who he was in 23, the year he had where he hit the ball really well. And I know a lot of Pirates fans out there are kind of like, well, he's your problem now. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. But just two humongous plays today for the Reds that they absolutely needed at the most crucial time. So give him his credit there. And although he does have a case for locked on player of the game, I think if I remember correctly, I'll have to ask my everydayers who are here. This may be the first time this gentleman got it this year.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm going to shout out Scott Barlow for the Locked On Player of the Game. Not only taking in what he did today, but bouncing back from giving up that home run yesterday. And that was just unbelievable today. So 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, does have 2 walks, but battled, man. Battled. Was unbelievably awesome. Really gave, picks up the win tonight. He's 5-0 in the year, by the way. And so, yes, Scott Barlow is our locked on player of the game. And I know everydayer Joshua Tucker is very excited because he's told me multiple times this year, Tim, Scott Barlow should be locked on player of the game. And today, you were absolutely right. Man, and Williams says it here, 4 straight strikeouts. Huge day for him. Ty Steve had a big moment tonight as well. Got the scoring started with a solo shot. And was fantastic. Now, if you follow one Stephen Offenbaker, he said that Ty Steve's going to hit 40 home runs. We have 31 to go with 49 games left. So is it technically possible? Yes, but it's going to not happen, obviously. But man, just that solo shot today, 103 miles off the bat, 389 feet, 25-degree launch angle. Later on, reaches on an error. That was by Swanson. For Swanson having a 2-run home run, being the only 2 runs the Cubs had, he really kind of had a bad game in hindsight, didn't he? So huge for Ty Steve to get that hit. I just feel like, and he's hitting the ball much better of late. And I think that he's just going to kind of get going. I mean, if you look at his last 15 games, 367 on base, 500 slugging, 269 batting average. He's got 3 homers in the last 15 games. It feels like he's getting going. And at this point, with what the Reds are, Jake says, has he hit 40 home runs since the 23 declaration? You know what? I would have to look that up, Jake. That's a really good question. You should definitely reach out to Steve on that when Jeff and Steve go have their show for tomorrow go up. That's really funny. But he's swinging the bat better. And, I saw someone ask earlier, why haven't we seen more Jose Trevino? Realistically, Stephenson's been better than him now for a couple months. And I love Trevino. I mean, obviously what he did for the team early in the year while they were out, Ty Steve, was humongous. But Stephenson's just been better. And obviously Trevino is a much better defensive catcher. But we shall see. Michael Blackman says, when Hap is 90 years old, he'll be activated for Reds games. Truer words never spoken there, Michael. Truer words never spoken. That's pretty funny. And hey, before I get out of here, I meant to do this yesterday and didn't. And this is the last thing I'll say about Bristol and the experience and how awful it was and all that. Because you're hearing it from everybody. You don't care to hear it anymore. I get it. But my guy, actually in the chat today, my good friend Branch Brown, literally saved Steve, Auntie Darlene, and I in Bristol. We were stranded. We could not get an Uber anywhere. It was tough. We had to be we had some guy in one of those bike taxis take us to another spot saying we could get Ubers there. Didn't happen. I text Branch and said, hey, I don't know where I'm at. I sent him my location and he came and picked us up. So if it wasn't for Branch Brown, who knows if you would have gotten any Locked On Reds early this week from Steve and I. So thanks to Branch. He is a true friend and someone I definitely appreciate. And follow him on the social medias if you don't already. He's I'll put it in the chat. He's at WV Redlegs, and he's a great follow, and he tells you a lot about really good food you can make. So wanted to give him his love there as well for being so supportive. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close it out. The Cincinnati Reds are victors tonight over the Chicago Cubs, 3-2. The Reds 3 runs on 6 hits and no errors. The Chicago Cubs 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 error. Your winning pitcher today is Scott Barlow. He is now 5-0 with a 3.75 ERA. Your losing pitcher today is Ryan Brazier with his first loss of the season. And Emilio Pagan picks up save number 24 on the year. And tomorrow, folks, Zack Littell makes his Cincinnati Reds debut at the friendly confines of the Wrigley Field as he takes the ball for the Reds. He is now 8-8 with a 3.58 ERA. He will be going against Shota Imanaga, who is 8-4 with a 3.25 ERA. I feel like Miguel Andujar is going to have his welcome to the Reds moment tomorrow. I really do. Feels like going against a lefty. This is what he was brought in for. Shota's a tough player already. And please, God, I just don't want another Asdrubal Cabrera. That's all I'm asking for here. But with that being said, I'll be back here tomorrow night. Everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me late. Almost doing late night Reds again. I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Go Red Legs.